Assalamu alaikum students. Today we are going to start our last topic of unit number 9, that is sound. What is sound basically? Sound is the voices that we hear. So what is echo? Echo is basically the repetition of same sound again and again. If you are in an open area and you speak something loudly, that voice, that sound repeat again and again. That repeated sound is called as echo. Why this echo happens? When you are saying something or producing a sound, that sound moves in the form of waves. Sound is basically the signals. So when you are saying something, that sound moves in the forms of waves. When these waves hit the object, hit any any hindrance that comes in the path of the waves of the sound, then that waves of the sound reflect back. As we have discussed in a light, that light reflect back with the same angle when it hit the smooth surface. In the same way, sounds are the waves. When these sound waves moves, it hit any object and reflect back. That reflection of that reflected back sound is produced echo. For echo, it is very important that you are standing at a specific distance. If you are too closer to the object, then echo will not produce. So for echo, it is very important that you are at a specific distance from the objects in an open area. Then that reflected sound waves will produce echo. So you hear your voice again and again. Like you are saying hello. So it will sound like hello, hello, hello because of the reflection of the sound.
असनैन भाई मैं गलती से आपके नाम से ले रहा हूँ Zoom मीटिंग।
All of you, off your mics. Here you can see the person is speaking or saying something. His voice moves in the form of waves. These are the waves. Sound moves in the form of waves, in the form of signals. When these waves hit the object, this wall is an object. When these waves hit the object, these waves will reflect back. By that reflection again and again, the sound produce echo. This echo could be of different seconds. Mostly it is of 0.8 second. If this is very lower, for example 0.1 second, then we cannot differentiate between the echo. It will be like that you are saying normally, you are saying continuously. This will observe in reverberation. That is our next topic. Let's continue this. Here you can see the person is clapping. That clapping also produces echo. If someone is clapping, due to the reflection of that clapping sound, the person hear echo because of the reflection by the different obstacles. This wall is obstacle. If there is something on this side, then this will be echo. But some materials do not reflect the light. They absorb the light. So
टीचर आप क्या काम करवा रही है?
absorb the light, that will not produce echo. Next, if you are playing any music, any instrument, or clapping your hand, that sound also produce echo because the sound moves in the form of waves when it hits the surface. Some surfaces absorb sound. These surfaces do not reflect the light. As we studied in the light, that incident ray hit the surface and reflect back with the same angle. We have drawn perpendicular, that is called as normal, between these two rays. In the same way, sound moves and reflect back with the same angle. You can draw here the perpendicular. That perpendicular is called as normal. Both the angles, angle of the incident sound wave and the angle of the reflected sound wave will be same. That reflection produce echo, the sound again and again. If the harder, the smoother, and the flatter the surface, the clearer the sound. So, clarity of the sound depends upon the surface of the object on that these waves of the sounds hit. Next, we are having a topic that is reverberation. Reverberation is little bit different from echo. What is reverberation? For example, if you stand in the middle of a large empty room, consider this a large empty hall, the large empty room, and shout, the echo time is too short for you to hear a second sound. Instead, the original sound just seems to continue for longer. This is called reverberation. In simple words, if you are standing in a open room, in the middle of the open room or the big room, you are saying something. That sound reflects back. But the timing of that reflection is very fast that you cannot differentiate between the reflection time. For example, you are standing here and you are saying something. Your voice will reflect back. The timing for this reflection is, for example, 0.1 second. So that's why you cannot differentiate between the echoes. Instead of this, while you are standing in an open air, where there is a large distance between you and the other objects, the reflection of your sound having a large interval of a time. That's why you differentiate between the reflected sound. As I gave you the example, if you are saying hello, so that hello sounds like hello, 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 that is echo. But when you are standing in a room, in a big hall, that sound of reflection of light, the reflection of that sound is very, very small time. For example, you can experience this in your homes. Stand in empty room where there is no furniture. The room is empty and you say something in that empty room. So your sound will be little bit changer because of the reflection of the light. But you cannot differentiate between the reflection time. Because reflection time is very, very small, it seems like you are saying continuously. That is called as reverberation. In a reverberation, you cannot differentiate between the reflected light. Next, we are having a topic that is echolocation. What is echolocation? Echo, you can divide this into two terms, echo and locate. means you are going to locate something with the help of echo. You are going to locate something with the help of echo. So echolocation means locate something with the help of echo. This technique, this process we observe in bats and some fishes like dolphins. They don't have eyes. Bats don't have eyes. So how they move, how they travel from one place to another place if they don't have eyes? They don't have eyes, but they have ears. They produce some sound continuously of specific frequency. That sounds move. If there is any object, anything in the path of their traveling, their sounds, the waves of the sound reflect back by hitting that object. So, by the time duration, by the difference between the time of the emitted wave or the reflected wave, some animals like bat, dolphins, they identify that which type of obstacle or hindrance is present in front of them. Due to that frequency, due to that reflected waves, they identify the hindrance, the object, and change their way or catch their prey. Next, we have example of dolphin. Here you can see the dolphins can identify the object by their sound. They produce sound waves continuously. These sound waves, when hit the object, the waves reflect back. These reflected waves give the dolphins idea about the object that is present in their path. Due to the time duration, if the reflected rays come back by taking a long time, for example, these reflected rays come back in a 1 second. So by this time, the dolphins identify that how far the object is, how far away this object is present. If this sound wave reflected back in just 0.1 second, so due to that time, these bats, these dolphins identify that the object is too near to them. This is called as echolocation. This echolocation is nowadays used as a technique in ships, marine ships. In marine ships, this echolocation technique is used as sonar. This technique identify the ships, those are under the water. Ships can identify the different other objects, the different other ships by producing sound waves. Due to the reflected sound wave, the ships can identify the other objects which comes in their path by the time duration, that how much time taken the reflected sound to comes back, as dolphins do, as bats do. This is called as echolocation. Next, we having a topic that is making music. This is something interesting, that how we are making the music. As we know, cow produce a sound moo, and the sheep produce sound baba. These moo and baba sound are not considered as a music. If the animals produce some specific sound, like monkeys produce a sound chatter chatter, frogs produce a sound ribbit ribbit, these sounds of the animals are not considered as a music. Music is something different. Music is basically a collection of different sounds. The sound of the cow like mooing, the sound of the sheep like baying is not considered as a music. These are some sounds just. But they are trying to make a music like moo moo, moo moo, baying. So they are trying to produce a music, but specifically in our general routine, the instruments, specific instruments are considered as making a music like guitar. Guitar is considered as a instrument that produce music. Here you can see this is called as guitar. This guitar having some strings. Here you can see the strings. This bass is made up of wood. And here you can see the hole. Here is the hole under the strings. So how this guitar works? If you holding a guitar, strings between your fingers and ask someone to pluck it, do you think it will make a musical note? No. This will not make a musical note. It is very important that your strings are connected across the sound box of a guitar. While you are vibrating the string, these vibrating strings causes the sound box to vibrate. While you are trying to vibrate this string after connecting across the sound box, then these vibrating strings causes this sound box, this is considered as a sound box, this sound box to vibrate. As a result, air particles that are present inside the sound box, this sound box having some air particles because there is a hole. So due to hole, air is entered into this sound box. So due to the air particles inside the sound box start vibrating at the same frequency as the string. As you are moving the string, vibrating the string, due to that string vibration, air particles vibrate. And when air particle in this sound box, this is a sound box, in this sound box start vibrating, they will produce music. They will produce some sound. And that is very interesting and very soothing when you hear, when you vibrate the string properly. The wood of the guitar, this is a wood. This material is made up of wood. This wood of the guitar helps to amplify the sound. What it means amplify the sound? Amplify the sound means increase the volume of the sound. Amplify the, enlarge the sound. Next, you can see here some other instruments. Here. These different instruments are used to make a musical notes. All these instruments work on the same principle. Then while you are making them vibrate, they let the air particles vibrate and start producing sounds of different frequencies and different tones. That looks very interesting. Different musical notes can be created by changing the force and the length of the vibration. If you change the length or the force while you are playing these instruments, due to that force and the changing length, these instruments produce different sounds. All the instruments work in the same way as guitar works. Bass instruments have valves that change the length of the column of vibrating air. So due to that valves, length change, and by changing the length, vibration of the air particles change and different musical notes produced by different musical instruments.